back to Julia's Kitchen. Today I'll be making some spare ribs done in my crock pot. So to begin, I'm going to start by making a barbecue sauce. The first thing I'll add is ketchup. And you want enough to coat all of your spare ribs, so be generous. The next condiment I'm going to add is some sriracha sauce for the heat. Following that, I'm going to add some honey mustard. It'll give a nice little tang to our spare ribs. And I'm using pork spare ribs. Now don't add any oil to your barbecue sauce or to the ribs because they have a good amount of fat on them and it doesn't require any additional fat. So now I'm going to add my dry spices. I'm going to add some peperoncino, which is grinded up chili peppers for a nice kick. Then I'm going to add some smoked applewood. You can find this at your grocery store. If you don't like the smoky taste, just leave it out. So a good sprinkling of this. That's the difference. Then I'm going to add some sweet paprika. My next ingredient will be some granulated garlic powder. Be generous with this, I like a lot of garlic. The next thing you want to add is salt, a good amount. And I don't measure when I cook. I think I've said this before, just because I do everything by eye and I add things that I like, or if I don't like them, I don't use them. So, you know, you can really personalize your recipes and or my recipes. And I'm just going to add some grounded black pepper. The last thing you want to add is some brown sugar for sweetness. And it's also going to give like a caramelized taste to the meat. So a nice generous sprinkling of this. Alright, so once you have all your ingredients in the bowl, just use a whisk and mix it all together. I have some lumps from the sugar because it's been in the cupboard, so when that happens it tends to dry up, so just make sure that everything is nice and blended together. Sauce, I'm just going to add a bit of water to thin it out. I would say maybe a tablespoon. And now just whisk it all together until blended. Now check the consistency if it's, it shouldn't be too runny, but it should still have a bit of thickness to it. So the next thing I'm going to do, you're going to need a brush to brush over your sauce, but what I'll do is just generously pour it all over and then like mix it in. So then just brush it over like this. Next, I'm just going to flip them over to dress the underside of them. So the next thing you're going to want to do is set your crock pot on to about high heat and just add in your ribs. Like this. So the next thing you want to do is just I'm adding in a red onion. It's going to add some extra sweetness to our barbecued ribs. Now place the lid on it and set the timer for about the next 5 hours. You're going to want to start this early in the morning. If you're planning this for lunch, I would even suggest overnight. The only thing about doing this overnight is you have to check on it. So just start really early in the morning if it's for lunch, and about midday if it's for supper, because it's going to cook for 5 hours. So set your timer on for a good 5 hours on high heat. If you have any remainder barbecue sauce, just save it halfway through, add it to your ribs because they will dry out, and you could just simply add more water to it to loosen it up, and then just mix it all together again like this. Maybe about 3 hours the ribs are cooked. I'll show you. So this is what they look like, and you know that they're done when they're fork tender. They come apart easily. So I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to head to the grill, the barbecue, and just get a nice little sear on them, and they'll be perfectly done. And I'll add some of that leftover barbecue sauce that I had. So after about 3 hours, I took the spare ribs out of the slow cooker, and now the sauce that I saved earlier, I'm just re-putting on top of the spare ribs. And I'm going to put them on the barbecue on high heat for about 5 to 10 minutes.